Okay, good morning everyone. So for our recipe today, what we're making is Bahamian style Johnny bread, or we also call it Johnny cake. So for this recipe, we're going to start off with 4 cups of flour. Dump it all in our mixing bowl. All right. And then, to continue our dry ingredients, we're going to get a 3/4 cup of sugar, just regular white sugar. We're going to dump that over our flour. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit more flour. Maybe just like a half a cup. This regular AP flour will do. Okay, so that's 4.5 cups of flour, 3/4 cups of sugar. If you want a little bit more sugar, you can do so. Sweeten up the pot a bit. Okay, then we have on the dry side, we'll go with 2 tablespoons of baking powder. Dump it right in the mixing bowl. Level it off. Okay, and to heighten all of the flavors, we're gonna just put a dash of salt. Just a little, maybe about a 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, that's our dry ingredients. And then we're gonna mix it all up. See what it looks like. Mix it all in there. Okay, and this is a very, very simple recipe, right? So not a whole lot of ingredients. So far we just have 4 ingredients, which was our flour, our sugar, our salt, and our baking powder. And then I'm gonna put the last ingredient, the 5th ingredient, which is some good old Crisco vegetable shortening, or as we Bahamians call it, lard. Okay, so I'm gonna get about 3/4 of a cup of shortening. And what this does is it gives the Johnny bread like a crunchy texture on the outside, but it's still like really soft, really moist on the inside, right? And Johnny bread or Johnny cake is a Bahamian breakfast staple. So you can have it with, with butter. That's my favorite way to have it, hot with butter. You can have it with jam, your favorite jam. You can have it with, scrambled eggs, with bacon, whatever your preference, you can certainly have for breakfast. And I also like to have it with a big cup of tea, like a monster mug of tea, and that'll last you, trust me, like that can last you the entire day, right? We also have it in Bahamian culture. We also have it with like chicken sauce, which is another breakfast staple. Stew fish, another breakfast staple. Any type of sauce, which is like a meat and a broth, a flavored broth, we have for breakfast, and this is a good pairing with that. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just cutting the shortening or the lard into my flour mixture. getting it all incorporated. And then next, I'm going to get rid of my spoon and I'm going to go in with my hands and finish, incorporate all that fat into the flour. So I have a 9 by 12 baking pan that's greased. We're going to dump it all into. So the only other thing that I need to do to this mixture is just finish incorporating the fat by hand, and then I'm going to add my water and I'm done. It'll be ready for the oven. Dump it in the pan and shove it in a preheated 350-degree oven. Okay. So here we go. Mixing by hand, and I'm just crumbling in all of that lard. Okay. And so what I'm looking for is like just a really coarse flour texture once all of that shortening is incorporated. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is meant to be a quick bread. So you're just like bam, 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 slopping everything kind of together. Well, not slopping it, but you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay, so that's good. That's our flour mixture incorporated. And then we have about 4 cups of water. So we're gonna, again, this is the messy part. So I'm just using my hands to incorporate at this point. Pouring in about 4 cups of water. And the mixture is gonna be sticky, gooey. That's how you want it. Just give it all a toss. Make sure you don't see any dry patches from the flour. Make sure the mixture is not predominantly on your hands, but in your bowl. Keep most of it there. And just keep mixing until all of the flour is incorporated. It's a really messy process. You may want to do this with your kids. Like, they would have a ball just getting their hands all messy. Mine are asleep right now, so they'll be upset. Now, if you want more of a cakey texture, you could add 1 egg to the dry mixture. Like, before you incorporate your fat, you can add 1 egg, and you could add for the liquids 3 cups of water and a cup of milk. So that gives you more of a cakey consistency. But I like the coarse bready consistency. So that's what we're going for. Okay. So basically right now all of my, well, most of my flour is incorporated. Just give it a couple more stirs with the hand. And again, quick. You don't want to over knead it. Get everything off your hands, or most of it, as much as possible, off your hands. Okay. And this is what my mixture looks like, right? A sticky dough. So I'm going to now take this mixture and I'm going to dump it into my 9 by 12 baking pan. Still trying to get some of it off my fingers. It's so sticky. Just trying to get it in the pan, in the bowl. And then I'll wash my hands to get the excess off. Okay. Okay. Move that aside. Put my pan. And dumping it in. Okay, I'm going to spread it out a little in the pan so that it has space to kind of spread out as it cooks. And the coarse texture, like you want it, that's gonna end up being like crunchy peaks in the bread. And that's what you want. Those are the really delicious bits. You may see little white globules. That's the shortening. So that's fine. Don't worry too much about that. Okay. Now it's in the pan and it's ready to go in the oven. Okay, so just giving you a quick view of the bread in the oven. If you can see that. Okay, it's in the oven. And we'll let it bake about an hour, a little over. Okay, we'll show you what the finished product looks like.